Hey everybody, welcome back to our video series here on Election Day Dialogue, where we're going to be talking through some of the issues that you're going to be seeing on the ballots coming up here in the state of Missouri on Election Day, November 5th. Today we're going to talk to you about the reality that life has value. That's right. Now I'm here in my office today too with a stack of books behind me. Now I'm going to show you one thing for me that has a lot of value. I have a book on my shelf. It's called The Summary of Christian Doctrine here. Now, not only is it a helpful theological book, but inside it has a particular value to me too, because it's authored, or has a signature in it, I should say, from my grandmother, Mabel Tim. And inside here, you can see that she too took some notes on various topics as it pertained to the church doctrine in the Lutheran Church. So nevertheless, this book always brings a smile to my face and has sentimental memories for me. So this is one of the books that I value the most. Now, it's easy for you to try and think about some of the things that you value the most. Some of the ways in which we can talk about that would be that exercise that we sometimes talk about when in educational settings with our children. We propose the hypothetical scenario. If there was a fire burning in your house and you were only able to grab one thing from it, what thing would it be? And that's a way to get to the bottom line of what are those things that we value. Now, the reason that we're talking about that today is because God values life. Life is one of those things that is very, very important to God. It's one of the things that He made, and one of the things that He still sustains as well. There's a couple different Bible passages, actually many different Bible passages that illustrate this very truth, but I want to take the time to share a couple of them with you here. The first one is from Genesis chapter 9. In Genesis chapter 9, the whole world has just been ravaged by the flood. And so God opens up the door for the ark for Noah and his family and all the animals to go and inhabit the earth once again. And as he does, God tells this passage about how he values life. He says, "For your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. And from fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man." And then God decides to get all poetic like he does sometimes, and he speaks instead of in prose, he actually switches to poetry and writes a poem about how much he values life. He says, "Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image." So this says life is something that's very important to God. And you can tell how important it is by the prohibition that God sets up against it. That it's not okay for anyone to take the life of someone else. Another passage that talks about how much God values life is in the Psalms. Psalm chapter 8 is a fantastic psalm that talks about the majesty of the name of the Lord and has a whole bunch of creation imagery right there along with it. And the psalmist David is looking at how wonderful everything is in God's eyes, and he's looking up at the stars, and he says these words. He says, "When I look at the heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place. What is man that you are mindful of him, the son of man that you care for him? Yet you have made him a little lower than the heavenly beings and crowned him with glory and honor." Did you hear the value that God has placed on human life? Just a little bit lower than the heavenly beings. God has also placed human life as being ones that are crowned with glory and honor. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel wonderful about myself and the lives of all those that God has placed in my life. But it also means that we need to be mindful of the lives of everyone around us as well. God has called us to care for and defend the lives of everyone because God values that very, very highly. This will be an important thing to consider as we take a deeper dive into Amendment 3 coming up on November 5th. Thanks again for tuning in. We hope to see you next time as we dive into more issues here on our Election Day Dialogue.